Hey everybody, alright, it's time for some updates on Diablo 4. Just going to take a quick look here and see what we got going on. We have the patch notes here. January 16th this came out, patch notes. This is going to be version 2.1.1. This is going to be coming out February 4th, 2025. And here are some of the highlights from these patch notes, broken up into specific categories. This is based on feedback that Blizzard has received. And as we look at some of these notes here, hopefully some of these are going to help alleviate some of the problems that players have been reporting throughout the start of this current season here. So let's just take a quick look. In the Dark Citadel section here, fixed an issue where the player could get stuck outside the maze. So they fixed that one there for the players that had that happening to them. And as we look at this, they've got a few more on the list here, but I want to point out this one fixed an issue where loot could disappear when returning via a party member's portal. All right, so that's going to be fixed now as well. Fixed an issue where players could infinitely revive themselves during the impending Doom wipe with Scrolls of Generosity. So again, these are fixes that are coming February 4th, right? February 4th. So in the Dark Citadel, that are the current bug fixes that are coming. In the miscellaneous section here, we have fixed an issue where witch powers could be swapped during certain Undercity runs. They've also fixed an issue where the certain rune called the Quo rune was listed as a rare rune. And if we go down a little bit further here, we see fixed an issue where tempering a glaive or quarterstaff did not contribute towards the potent alterations achievement. So that's going to be fixed now as well. We've got miscellaneous category here. We have the Dark Citadel category, but let's scroll on down to the base game and see what's happening here. Seasons of the Witch. This season has been phenomenal. For those of you that played the Vampire season, this is basically a lot of the feedback from the Vampire version on how the powers and stuff worked, the leveling system and so forth for them. So this has been a good upgrade. And let's take a look at some of the fixes for this in the coming patch. This is going to be February 4th. This is coming out. So the spawn rate of Forgotten Elders has been increased, or will be increased at the point. That's going to be fantastic. This has been a big issue. It's nice to see that they're actually going to resolve this one. We want to be able to get those resources, and it's very difficult with the rate that they're currently spawning. Throughout some of the headhunt zones, we've noticed there's a lack of some of the ravens, so that way, you're trying to get all those Grim Whispers gathered up, and then you got to make this huge travel just to be able to turn those in, so you can do other Whispers there. So they're increasing the ravens of the tree in certain headhunt zones. 2 new Whisper bounties, right? So this is going to make it so there's a little more variety to what you're doing in those zones. As they add more in there, that means that you're not doing the same ones over and over necessarily just to get that full 10 or 10 plus, so that you can churn in those Whispers. New icons for the headhunts are going to be available, and then one of the other things I want to point out here is additional UI element has been added to track progress towards spawning head-rotten bosses. All right, so I know a lot of us are farming right now with the head-rotten bosses, trying to get the materials that we need so we can make some of the things that are seasonal. So that's going to be a lot nicer to be able to see that track and progress towards those head-rotten bosses. All right, so that's just the general Season of the Witch. Let's go on down to the Armory section here. A new button has been added to easily delete loadouts. Various other miscellaneous updates to the overall user experience for the Armory. I'm not sure if you guys are using the Armory yet. This has been a great addition. People have been asking for this. It's something that other games and previous versions of Diablo have allowed something similar to this. And so it's nice to see that they've added it in. But let's go jump on down to bug fixes. So in this section here, the one I want to point out is fix an issue where the names for trade chat and clan chat would not be read by the screen reader. So these small little fixes like this are going to make certain aspects of the gameplay a little bit better if you are taking advantage of those things, or little bugs that you notice that were going on that just made it difficult to figure out how to progress forward with something, or did something actually happen. So they're going to have that fixed now in the screen reader. We're going to jump on down to the Season of the Witchcraft and an actual look at the Witchcraft powers. So for those of you that are using the Doom Orb, I'm sure you've seen a lot of characters running around with these now. One of the things that would happen is if you killed if the monster that it was targeting when it went out from your orbit died while it was on its way towards that target, it would take a while for it to register what had happened and then return back to you. So they fixed that issue. It's supposed to return much faster now. The process is supposed to be smoother. And they fixed an issue where the Learned Grimoires, you would get these and you didn't know what to do with them because you've already acquired them. Maybe you would be in a mob and about 3 of the same one would drop. And so then they'd just be stuck in your inventory there. So they figured out how to resolve that as well. Fixed an issue where the decay augmentation tooltip mentioned base damage when it should just state damage. All right, that's going to be nice here. And again, these are more about the witch powers themselves. They fixed an issue where the Firebat servants couldn't trigger Hex of Whispers. All right, so now it's going to be able to trigger that, which is good because a lot of the synergies there is based off of having the Hex on them. There's a visual effect that's been fixed with the lifelink there. This one is actually pretty interesting. I'm not sure if anybody is using this. If you are, throw that into the comments there. Let me know. I have a Thorns build that I'm trying with this, and I really want to see, I really want to be able to track that it's actually occurring, so this is going to be a good update. Fixed an issue where some witch powers did not display properly in the Fields of Hatred. The Firebat servants once again, all right, they fixed an issue where the Firebat servants spawned every 2 seconds instead of every 3 seconds, all right? I'll be honest, they could have just kept it at the 2 seconds there for me. That would have been fine. I don't think there's anything crazy with the damage output on those. And then as we go down a little bit further, fixed an issue where the grow power could cause summon minions to grow multiple times when transitioning between zones, right? So we have these giant ones out there. No one can stand in the path of the swole golem, the swolem, right? And then we come on down here to the headhunt and whisper. So they fixed an issue where circle during the display whispers, or sorry, the dispel whispers, bounty would disappear before all relevant enemies were defeated. So you would leave the area thinking that you had completed that one, and later on, as you try to do the second, the third one, you would realize something went wrong. They fixed an issue where elite monsters spawned by seeker frogs and entangled villagers would run away from the player when first spawned. I myself have witnessed this. Sometimes you get to see this blue or purple ether-like string that shows you where they ran off to, but I've seen them literally run across the screen and I have to go and hunt them down. Fixed an issue where the Lost Whisper bounty could fail to complete. I've actually had this one happen to me. It just stuck there. We got all the way around the entire part. We're in the final round of it, and all the monsters appear. They're gone, and it's just sitting there waiting. There's nothing around. So that's going to be good because I think it's about a minute's time to go around and do that process. A little bit less than a minute, depending on how fast you kill things. But again, we're all in there trying to grind to get through this stuff. It's nice to know it's going to be working properly. Fixed an issue where you couldn't interact with the Raven of the Tree if the player teleported to the Tree of the Whispers and back. I did not myself run into this one. Usually I'm going right to the Raven while I'm in there, and of course they set up above that they're going to increase the amount of Ravens in certain Headhunter zones. Fixed a rare issue where an excessive number of monsters could spawn in Headhunt zones. I'm not sure if that's really a problem for anybody. I think we're all kind of excited when that happens. And then we got some root holds down here. Fixed an issue where exposed roots could block projectiles when morphing into cocoons. All right. I think the big one out of here that I want to point out is fixed an issue where exiting a root hold would always take the player to the silent house instead of directly outside the root hold. All right. So we've had this, I think, after season 2, they tried to make the traveling between places, the traveling through the certain load screens and things like that. They've tried to optimize that as much as possible, and of course, some things slip through the gap. So it looks like they're trying to again make things as smooth as possible, so we have more time actually playing the game versus just interacting with things that are not really playing the game but waiting for certain things to happen so we can play. Then we come down to the occult gems. I think a lot of us are currently trying to get as many resources as we can. So what they've done here is fix multiple issues where the Duststone occult gem did not work properly. All right, you hate to save all that stuff up and have invested in something and have it not work properly. Fixed an issue where the Vile Phylactery occult gem granted double stats when a witch power was equipped. Right, as fun as that might be, we want it to work as intended. Coming on down here to the seasonal quest line, fix an issue where Una did not follow the player into the boss fight. For anyone that's still going through the quest lines or making new characters, I've made so many characters this season already and gone through like the beginning stuff. I've had to delete characters already and make new ones. I like the whole beginning part of the game and the storyline. I do have some characters in the end game that I'm going through now, but it's nice to know that they're fixing stuff even that's part of the actual quest line. Keep in mind this season just started, right? But we're burning through it as quick as we can. Everybody's really enjoying the new gameplay. But those are some of the updates coming out in the section up above. Now we're going to move on down to the Armory. Fix an issue where Armory would load sorcerer enchantments that are not unlocked in some cases, and various fixes for missing or inaccurate icons and text. And the gameplay side of things, fix an issue where Bonebreaker Legendary Paragon node was not stacking as fast as intended when you're swapping those weapons there. That's going to be the Barbarian. Fixed an issue where Druid Spear offerings didn't drop from elite monsters. Elemental synergies would not update if a familiar changed elements. So that's good. This is actually really good. Fixed an issue where elemental synergies would not update if a familiar changed element. So elemental synergies is essentially a passive node. It's down on one of the last trees that you get to right before your key passes. And the way it works is based on having a elemental item in your actual action bar, it increases how much damage that element is going to do. And the familiar is one that by default, it shows up as a pyromancy skill. But the moment you use a non-pyromancy skill, it changes the default affix that's associated with it. So if I use spark, it's going to switch then to a lightning or shock-based attribute. But if I use a cold skill, it's going to change to a cold attribute. It does that for about 8 seconds and it shifts back. But the big part is if you have your whole action bar filled up with the same element, you actually get double the bonuses from elemental synergies. And so if you have familiar on there and it's not changing or updating, then you're losing out on that double bonus. So that's good that they fixed this here. Fixed an issue where rank 5 of Wrath of Berserker could still knock back enemies, but not always pull them to the player. We've got the update for Lacerate down here. Fixed an issue where the player could move while channeling Lacerate. I think some people are wondering, you know, is it really that big of a deal if you can move while you're doing that? And then we've got Fixed an issue where Tree Whisperer's collection of chaos rewards could drop only one type of equipment instead of a variety. So that's the chaos ones. I don't know about you guys, but I like choosing the chaos ones just to see what I get in them. About 50% of the time I'm choosing chaos if it's available. And then the other one I want to point out here is Fixed an issue where Spur could increase the player's movement speed after they dismounted. So all these small little fixes are coming out February 4th. There's a lot on here. Jump on over to news.blizzard.com to see the full list here. We've got some interface and user experience ones that are going to be fixed for us. And below that, we got a few more miscellaneous. Fixed an issue where defeating Echo of Lilith for the first time on a terminal character did not reward a Resplendent Spark. So these are coming out for you guys. Just wanted to give you a quick little update there on that. If you have not already read these, again, these are coming out February 4th, 2025. It is currently the 31st. So in 4 days here, we're going to see these updates. Thanks for stopping by, you guys, and we'll check you out later.